Robert, you know what I learned today?
What did you learn?
I learned that money isn't free.
Well, some people think there is free money, but there is no free lunch either.
Well, I mean, if those people are the government, I could be very, I guess the word for it is it could affect things on a massive scale. On this episode of Real Estate Chat with
Yonder Perez.
and Robert Eid, it's not us that's saying this. Actually, one of the major banks is saying that the government has spent too much and that money isn't free, and therefore that cost of spending that money by the government is one of the things that has led for these rates to be so high. So let's pull this up. Robert shared this with me, Scotiabank Global Economics: to spend or not to spend. That is the monetary question. Very witty title there, but basically, Scotiabank, not Robert, not Jonder, not Real Estate Chat, which you like and subscribe to, uh, estimated that the government consumption and pandemic transfers to households account for 200 basis points of the 475 basis points increase in the Bank of Canada's policy rate, and reflects a large and persistent increase in government consumption by all levels of government in Canada since the end of 2019, when the federal support programs for household rolled out during the pandemic. You remember that free money and cheap money
Free
period.
money, CERB. Yep, CREB,
Money,
whatever it is.
all of that stuff. So, a couple more key points. Given that the provincial government consumption of goods and services more than triple that of federal government, provincial spending alone accounts for about a third of the increase in policy rates. We will link to this pretty neat economics report because there's a lot of other cool charts and graphs for you real estate stats and economics nerds out there. But Robert,
Yeah.
I mean, our previous episodes have called for that the rates are going to be cut and the reasons for that. We have naysayers that say, hey, no, you know what, it's going to be costing a lot of money. Rates are still going to be up there. Inflation still hasn't been put out. Turns out it's the government spending that is keeping these rates up the way they are, and money isn't free. What does that mean to our real estate chat viewers, though?
Well, it depends on whether they want to understand it or whether they want to react to the other side of it. That we just had an economic statement yesterday by the federal government that was trying to make a projection out for about 4 or 5 years past when they're going to get kicked out of office in the middle of 2025. How wonderful it's going to be then. And like they all do that, they make a projection way past the time when they have any control over anything and anything that they have possibly any idea about what might happen. But everything's rosy for the next coming up time. Now, the only thing that's not rosy in the federal budget is all the money that they borrow with the bond program and with quantitative easing, which they just printed the money without any kind of backing to it. Of course, it's not got gold, doesn't have a bond. It just, we needed the money fast to solve a problem that we created, that solve a problem. And now when we borrowed it at 1.1%, now that we're having, because it's floating rate, that we have to pay 4.2%, it's really blown our budget. That they give us a nice comprehensive summary of statements in the 22-23 budget. They paid $35 billion in just public debt charges. You don't get nothing for that. You pay that and you get nothing except you paid the interest for the past period. And the coming year, it's going to be 52.4% or $52.4 billion. You don't get anything for that. You're just paying interest on money you previously borrowed, previously spent. You don't get anything for it. It's gone. Now, you know, on your credit card, they charge you 21%. And you say, I can never get anywhere, even if I pay 5%, even if I pay half. It seems like I'm really getting nowhere because this 21% just loads. Now, we can go into the whole discussion of how they do the bond finance and everything like that. And you don't want to know it. All you want to know is they're spending way more. It's not 5% more. It's like 30% more than the revenue on programs plus interest. And it's the interest that's really killing it. They could pay for all the programs out of revenue, but they can't pay for the interest. So now they have to borrow the money to pay the interest. And guess what? That's very undesirable. So what we have to have is every person who owns a house, owns a car, has a family, has a brain, say, I'm not going to put up with this being bribed by my own money anymore. I don't want somebody who says, you can pay tomorrow for the pharmacare program that we promise, for the whatever the care promise, $5 a day health care or child care. I'm not going to have you pay for that tomorrow. You got to pay for it today or go away. I'm sick of that. And when they finally do that in Canada, then it'll take 10 years to make an adjustment. Then we'll finally have a budget where you have enough revenue and you pay the taxes and you get a benefit for it. Maybe you don't get every dollar, but somebody else does, and you get it from them. And it's just a sharesy-wearsy straighten out as long as the budget is balanced. Now, politics, we're not talking about politics. We're talking about economics. We're talking about family budget. It's just multiplied by 10,000 million. So what do you want to do if you're in the real estate business? Number one, you got to live somewhere. Number two, you got to be able to handle it. And number three, you want to hope that it's worth more now in 10 years and in 25 years. And when you want to retire, it should be more than what you paid into it, interest and principal over all that time when you lived there. Now, you're consuming its value every single time because you got to live somewhere. You're not renting somewhere, you're owning it, you're paying a mortgage off, you're retiring the debt. So you got to buy something quality. You can buy garbage, you're going to lose money on it. But you can buy something good. Maybe it's smaller, maybe it's further north, south, east, west, but you buy something that is yours, that you'd like, and you can afford. Interest rates are at a peak or close to the peak. They gave us one good thing. You don't have to, if you have an insured mortgage, you don't have to stress test. You can go to another lender. Hooray, they did one good thing. But we got to get rid of the whole stress test. What we were saying before is you want to buy something that suits you now. If you're a seller, you want to find somebody who is looking for just exactly that and will pay you for the 25 years worth of raking that you did in the backyard and digging and putting in the bulbs and making everything just right in the backyard and with pegboard for the tools and everything, and sees that as value, not some spec that's going to try and rent it turn it into 3 units. No, that's not who you want. So it's the same as it's always been, except as a buyer, you have much more time. And as a seller, you have much more time, except you don't want more time. You want everything to happen lickety boom, but you have more time. So you have more time to prepare. You have more time for the process, and you don't have rush and doing it at midnight. You have a nice, calm, relaxing process of negotiation with your realtor, who has advised you all the way along on what to expect, what to not expect, what's the range of reality that you can expect. So that's a long, complicated answer.
Well, there you go. Be strategic, as Robert said, and make sure you follow that advice. Make sure you replay that, because you got to understand each and every single particular detail of that. And be a smart. I don't like using the word consumer because it labels as everything is about consumption. But I mean, the government consumes, the general public consumes, rates dictate consumption. But
the word consume versus invest. If you consume, you're gobbling it up right then. You can't get it back again. If you're investing, you're putting money into it. You're hoping you get that money back out over time.
There you
Instant,
go.
Forever.
Be smart with your money. Invest in real estate. Thanks for watching this episode of Real Estate Chat. Make sure you click subscribe and like if you like this episode. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care and bye for now.
Goodbye.